Welcome to Backyard Wellness, a show that tries to help you learn about healthy things between your community, the region, and even in your own backyard. Well, today is a special day because I'm filming this show on Earth Day, and I'm going to be talking about grid-tied solar. Specifically, connecting a little bit with my own system, and I'm going to revamp one of my old shows. In fact, that's what I'm going to be doing from now on, is trying to integrate my old shows and update the information. And it's definitely happened with my solar energy, because when it was filmed, my show was filmed on grid-tied solar in 2013, everything started falling apart. The panels, the microinverters were becoming obsolete. It was a phase one panel setup, so the sun needed to track exactly perpendicular to the panel. That's why at that time there were systems that were actually moving with the sun. Well, that's no longer necessary with my upgrade, which was installed in 2019. We're going to talk about photovoltaic systems. Photo meaning sunlight, voltaic energy. And I have a 3.5 kilowatt grid-tied photovoltaic system. I know, it's a mouthful. Let's go into what it is. Here I have 6 solar panels on a pedestal, and the pedestal can be changed so that the sunlight is perpendicular to the panels for the best solar gain. Then the solar panels are making direct current, and so you need inverters in the back. And each one of these panels has a little black box connected to it, which is a microinverter, which changes the direct current into alternating current. That's what we use in our electrical system. This power goes right onto the line to my home meter, and then goes into the general municipality's utility line, grid tied. I have no battery backup, so if I'm overproducing, then I get a rebate from the utility as a producer. If I'm underproducing, then they rebate me still for what I've used, and also charge me for what I gained or received from the grid. So it's a little variable every month, but these panels are working every day, 365. The best ones, I like the best ones of this system, are the ones right here, because the pedestal I can get the snow off. But in the wintertime, on the garage, where I have 10 panels, and we'll show them later, well, and come wintertime, if the snow didn't melt off of them, then we have a big problem. I have a solar disconnect on the garage, and the purpose of it is an old style, actually, because they had, when people did their own systems, linemen would get shocked and of course killed if the photovoltaic was pushing energy through the line. And so to prevent that, we have a solar disconnect. Actually, it's not needed, but rules are rules, so we have it. Because my line is interconnected with the electric line, so I really don't need that disconnect as much. Shall we look at the net meter? Net meter is a little different than the regular meter, because the net meter will be talking about how much I've used through the life of my energy, how much I'm producing by my solar panels, and then how much I'm demanding right now from my house. So if you look real close on the meter, you'll see the numbers switch because it's doing three things. Can you see the numbers? That's good. So the meter man will come and say, well, last month you had number 1,400 whatever, and now you've got 1,043. That's how many kilowatts I've used. And then right now I could see how much I am using within the house. And then there's a little star that says how much the panels are producing right now in the day. My current system has integrated cells so that as the sun goes across the panel, it can read and it is more efficient. So anyway, I got into this because I lived in North Carolina and I saw the mountaintop removal in the Appalachians, and I saw the loss of salamanders and other wildlife because of it, and it was affecting the economy to see all the coal. I didn't realize how much coal I was burning. I'd seen some coal piles, like you have probably seen over at the Alma Dairyland plant. Well, turns out that 1 pound of coal produces 1 kilowatt of energy. Now, when you look at your utility bill, it will say on there you use 168 or maybe 451. Well, that's kilowatts. That's pounds. If you were burning just straight coal to make the energy, that's 431 pounds right there, and multiply that by 12, and you're into tonnage. I annually use 1.5 tons comparatively of coal, but my solar panels produce 2.3 tons of energy. So that's why we're going in Wisconsin, and the rest of the nation is trying to break away from the fossil fuels. And Wisconsin has a plan, a roadmap that will go until 2050, in which we will be net zero. I am net zero annually because, as I said, I am overproducing my energy demand. I get a readout from my solar panels now, and it says how much energy I've produced. The blue on this is the energy that I've produced, and my demand is the yellow. So I've consumed less all the time, except this 1 week. That was in March. I guess there was a lot of snow or rain or something that influenced the fact that my panels couldn't be as effective as they had been the previous 3 weeks in March. So that is why I like it. I really enjoy the solar panels. I enjoy knowing, just how much energy, when I'm using the energy, and when I'm most effective. I like having the app to see just how each panel is performing. I have an installer who actually is connected to it too, and so he gets a printout or an alert from Enphase if there is a problem, and he calls me up and says, "Hey Lo, I noticed that your microinverter on the 3rd panel across your garage is not functioning as well." Or maybe Enphase, which is in California, says, what's going on here? You haven't produced any energy for a while. Well, it's because of a snowstorm. Well, I think they're learning that in the Midwest they're going to watch our weather a little more. So I've had less alerts from Enphase talking about the fact that I've had no production on a snowy day. I do with the array that's on the ground mount. This is the ground mount section. This right here is the rooftop on the garage. This one I do have a rake. I don't use the rake the metal rake. I use actually a window washing squeegee to get the snow off of my panels, and then I let the sun melt the rest. But it helps it. I can't reach the top ones. They're so far up high, because each one of these panels is 3 by 4 feet, and I mean 2 by 4s. So, you know, by the time you add them all up and they're way up high, nope, can't do it. So I let the sun do it. There are, like I said, I am getting a lot of power from my panels. And the reason why some utilities don't actually appreciate me getting any rebate or money off of my bill is that they consider it being a deficit to the utility. Now, an IOU, that is for profit. They're self-running, usually self-serving. They have some sort of supply. Then there's the cooperatives. The municipality can't. It's government, and as you know, government can't make a profit. So the municipal utilities have to be fluid with their economics. And actually, when you consider the fact that I am producing energy that is ready for my neighbors to use, it's ready for me to use, and so if I have any excess, I just dump it onto this grid, and then my neighbor can have energy. I'm actually making the utility in my municipality more efficient. They didn't need to add any lines to make me do this. I just plugged it in, and it works. So it's a matter of working together to make our community better by having more solar. And that is part of the Wisconsin roadmap to net zero by 2050, that there will be more rooftop solar, and there will be more solar gardens or community solar. What's the incentive beyond getting rebate? Well, for me, for instance, it would take about 15 years on my system, and a system is good for 40 years. When I say 40 years, it doesn't mean that it just suddenly stops working. It just means that it's not as efficient as it was when I initially installed it. So I would have a system paid off in 15 years or less, depending on how well I can produce in that period of time. And the rest of the energy would be free to me. That's not too many things that we install at that cost that pays us back to be free. Even a furnace replaced can't do that. So the Enphase that I have, the system that I now have with the upgrade, has the potential that it could be connected to battery backup. In our village, there are 13 sites that have solar energy. 2 of them have Tesla power walls. That means they can store their energy, and one stores it so that it can supply his whole house in the winter with energy, and the other one has just a zone. I think that's what I would do if I was going to do it. But I have not done that. There are tax deductions. The homeowner can get a 30% federal tax credit on an installation if it's installed before 2032. Wisconsin has it that property tax exemption occurs. In other words, if I'm assessed, they don't include the solar as an added to increase the value. Also, when the solar is installed, there's a sales tax exemption. The 5% sales tax just doesn't apply. Net metering is actually on the bill. Excel does it, that if I demand electricity, I pay for it. But if I produce the electricity, whatever amount, then it's on the grid, then the municipality or XL pays back the exact one-for-one amount of what it cost. That includes the tax that would be on there, which wouldn't be applied because there isn't any tax on something that can't be charged. Then there's Focus on Energy. Will pay $500 to homeowners who install energy in heavily populated areas. But if you're in the rural or remote area, there's $1,000 that credit that can come from Focus on Energy on the installation. Now, if you really want to see things right hands-on, there are many ways to see it. Annually, we had a show in a tour in Trempealeau. It's this solar tour through ACES. Go online, and they will say locally who's on the tour. It's been going on for 32 years. It's on the first weekend in October. So put it on your calendar. If you want to go talk to people who have solar and you want to see how it works and what their system looks like and their adaptations and how they might have applied it in renewable energy in other ways. Sometimes they'll have some wind power or passive solar or heat pumps or something like that along with the solar tour. So check it out. It's fun for the people that do it, and people, you know, each year we have more people coming to see us on our tour. Then there's MREA, Midwest Renewable Energy Association. It's in Custer, Wisconsin, near Stevens Point. Every summer in June, this year it'll be June 22nd in 2024, Saturday, only one day. This is a new thing. Usually it's 3 days, but they're going to try just the one day and put it all in one. There will be seminars, there's hands-on, there's distributors, installers, all kinds of aspects of renewable energy, not just solar, are there. In their main building, they have samples of the different kinds of batteries that can be used with solar energy. So people will be able to explain the power of them. The Tesla power wall, for instance, the Enphase IQ system, which I could have. Those two are lithium ion, and so there's a lot of research to find out what batteries will be used in the long run, because you know that after a while, when you recharge a rechargeable battery, it just doesn't recharge as well as it did the first time you recharged. it starts losing its capacity, and it's also losing the length of charge. So you have to charge it more often, and you're getting less and less and less and less. Well, it's the same way with the Tesla Powerwall and the IQ system. And the people want to know just about how big they need or their solar array. Well, it depends on the demand that you want to put into it, when you want to use it, and how large is your own system. There's Renew Energy in Wisconsin, which is an educational nonprofit organization. They also look for collaboration and outreach. They're great advocates for renewable energy and a great resource here in our state. We really should pat ourselves on the back and do a shout out, because Wisconsin has really done a lot of things in renewable energy, like the net zero concept has been practiced in Wisconsin since 1982. I mean, Earth Day, look at Earth Day. I mean, a senator is the one that started the idea of having an Earth Day. So really and truly, there's all kinds of sources, wonderful things happening, and I'm hoping that in the following months I'll be showing you a little more about renewable energies, not only solar farms, but heat pump, EV, things like that, so that you can get a feel for what is really out there. Most of the things that we are experiencing now is because of the Income Reduction Act. And most people don't know about the Income Reduction Act as being anything that's connected to renewable energy. A lot of the money is going towards the big industry, because obviously if they have to downgrade a coal-fired plant, and meanwhile our demand is increasing, they're in a crunch, because you can put so many panels up or so many wind farms up, but if the grid isn't ready to receive all that energy, then the utility has to figure out a way of connecting and making it come out even. That's why if you go in Iowa, you may see some wind turbines stopped. It's because there's too much energy being produced sometimes. It's not that they are needing repair or anything. It's just that there's too much energy, the grid can't handle it, so the energy is just dumped or not produced. So anyway, it's an exciting time. This is an exciting state, and we can do a lot of things. And I hope that this will introduce you to different ways to help us meet the roadmap towards net zero by 2050.